Praise be to the living Elohim. Almost there. All right. I'm going to turn over to the right, or to my right, to the east, and I'm going to pray. Yahweh, we thank you tonight. We thank you that you are Elohim. Yahweh, we thank you for all your blessings, the food, the clothing, the shelter. Yahweh, we thank you for spending this time with us. We're sitting at your feet, Yahweh, and we're asking you to teach us tonight. We're asking you, Yahweh, that you would continue to lead us and guide us in your Torah. We give you praise and we give you honor. And we'll give you all the thanks. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise be to the living Elohim, Yahweh. All right. So, yeah, I'm super thankful that we have this opportunity because, you're only going to have so much time, to get this right. And for the Most High, he's been dealing with us as a people. And the people, your screen share is loading. Okay. The people that he's interested in are the ones who are going to, that are going to listen to him. Okay. Our Torah portion this week is called Bo. And Bo means go. It's just that easy, Bo or to come, right? So we're at a transition time where, the Most High is now tightening up the screws on Paro and the people of Mizraim. We also see too Moshe, really falling into his role as a leader, even though he still has his challenges. He's been going back and forth and he's been pleading with Paro, and the Most High has been using him, and he's been using a lot of signs to speak to him. And often Yah will demonstrate his signs and his power in order for us to get the understanding about who he is. And of course, he continues to say the same thing, which is Ani Yahweh. And when we look at that term about I am Yahweh, as just regular human beings and reading, English or even saying in the Hebrew, it's not, I don't think we fully understand what that means, and I don't think we're going to understand it completely until we have our experience with him. I don't want to religify, or I don't want to spiritualize these words, because, we are real. We're real people, and we have real lives, and the Most High he's real. And, I think Pharaoh is the greatest example that we can have about someone who's having a very difficult time understanding who the Most High is. One of the things that the Most High said is that he's going to harden Pharaoh's heart. And a lot of people take occasion with that, because they're saying, like, why would the Most High do that? Why would he harden this man's heart, knowing that is he preventing him from sending the people away? What is he doing? What's his goal? Why is the Most High, if he's hardening his heart, then he knows that he's not sending the people. But why? Why is the Most High hardening his heart? Why is he putting this weight on him and doing his mind like that? What do you guys think?
He's causing him to show his power and who he is.
Yeah, he is. And he's been doing it through his signs and his wonders. And what he's been doing is things that are really, like, they're consequential, man. I mean, he's taken away their ability to even to sleep. He's taken away their ability to have life as they thought it was. He's interrupting things with nature. So we see this great power, and his intention is for him to be known that way. And so for us, if we're looking for him and we're looking for him to do something for us, we need to think about how these things happen and what his intention is for us, and how he's going to do it for us is literally going to be of greater magnitude than what happened here. Again, this is just the prototype. Like, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for the benefit of the whole world to see. So the magnitude in which the Most High is going to do this is going to be pretty scary. Okay. Because he has to separate himself from all other gods, and he's going to do that through nature. So everything that he's been doing, in terms of the plagues and the judgments, have been with nature. It's been with the frogs, it's been with the lice, it's been with the dust, it's been with the water, it's been with the substances of blood, it's been with insects, it's been with pestilence and disease, it's been with boils, it's been with darkness, as you're going to see this week. It's been with all those things. And finally, in conclusion, he had to talk about how he's going to be dealing with human life. Even before that, other people have died, the ones who put their servants out there. So blood is being shed, life is being lost. And we see this side about Yah in terms of how he uses destruction to show that I am Yahweh. We see that in some cases, in a lot of cases, excuse me, not some, in many cases, that he's not showing any mercy to those who he has a problem with, and so he doesn't want us to miss this. It's very important. So let's begin in reading in Exodus and Shemot, chapter number 10. It says this: Yahweh said to Moshe, "Go to Paro, for I have made him and his servants hard-hearted, so that I can demonstrate these signs of mine among them." Okay. So that you can tell your son and your grandson about it, what I did to Egypt, and about my signs that I demonstrated among them, so that you will all know that I am Yahweh. Okay. So the example, the teaching is that I'm going to do these things in order for your sons and your grandsons, even though they're not here, they're not around. I want them to know what I did. So this is very important for us to understand, because this is the story. As I've been telling you, this is the story. If we lose this right here, what I did in Egypt and about my signs, he wants that to be remembered. He does never want this to be forgotten. And so we're going to see this, later on this week, when he introduces us to Pesach, and when he introduces matzah to us, and when he introduces these things to us, is to remind us, okay? So there must be something to this Mizraim story, because that's when you're going to find out who he is through this story. And if you lose sight of that story, then you lose sight of what the goal is and what the plan is, okay? Him and Aharon went to Paro and said to him, "Here is what Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews says. How much longer, okay? How much longer will you refuse to submit to me?" You guys, when I read that this week, when I read these words, okay, let me get my pen together. When I read this week, okay, how long are you going to refuse to submit to me? I almost skimmed right over it, and then I reread it again, and I understood that the Most High is talking to not only Pharaoh, but he's talking to us. Okay? This story is not written just for Paro. This story is not written, as you notice, he just said, "I'm going to do the things that I'm doing so you can tell your son and your grandson about what I did." Okay? Every aspect of what he did in Mizraim is something that we need to put a real good eye on, okay? And look at it carefully, okay? Words like, "How much longer will you refuse to submit to me?" Well, he's already told us that I'm going to make him hard-hearted, him and his servants. So this in particular question right here, this interrogative, is mentioned for our benefit. Okay. He's given us a story about a person who has decided to
I wasn't supposed to hang the blood and spike it.
Was
But
it?
I come to the blood was speaking everything. And I said it. I said things.
Thank you. Sorry about that, everyone. So the idea is where he wants us to remember Okay. He wants us to remember this. So again, when I read this, it struck home with me about how much longer will you refuse to submit to me? How long? How long? And I asked myself the question, like, what do you mean? What do you mean submit to you? Well, this word right here, submit, means to be, forgive me, you guys, if I can write it properly. How long will it be before you humble yourself? Often we think that we're okay with Yah and that everything is peachy creamy and that there's nothing else to be expected from us. It's because we do the things that he's asked us to do. Everyone here keeps the Shabbat, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Okay. All of us are reading the Torah, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All of us are praying, right?
Yes.
So when we go through the list, we can check the boxes off. Okay. What I'm learning from the Most High is that you can have all the boxes checked, but you still need to understand what humility really means. We still need to be brought to the lowest part. And it doesn't mean to be financially broke. It doesn't mean that you have to give up on, how you dress, or you can't drive a certain car, or you can't go to certain places. It doesn't mean that. What it means is, how do you view him? What's your perspective of the Most High? Are we checking the boxes off because we just want to make sure that we don't be put to death? Or are we just doing this because we're trying to just safeguard our position or our place with him? Or are we doing this because this is what we really want to do, is honor him? If you think about it, out of everything that the Most High has made, he's given us the ability to give him praise. King David says that he praises Yah how many times a day?
3,
Oh, no.
7.
7. He said, I praise you 7 times a day. You see? So that's mentioned in order to bring our attention to how the Most High is worthy. He's worthy of our praise, okay? And it takes humility. Now, we're busy. We got life, right? We got work. We got children. Some of us got kids. Some of us are doing planning. We got businesses. We have a lot of stuff going on. And so we find it, we're busy. We got other things in our lives. The humility that the Most High is looking for is for us to understand that nothing that we can do, or nothing that we have, or even our own existence, is not reliant or dependent upon our own strength. Every meal that Yah has provided for us has been by his hand. Everything that we have accomplished in our lives has been because of his hand. It's because he's allowed us to do that. Every person that we've met and fallen in love with has been because of his hand. Everything that we've experienced, whether it's good or bad, has been because of his hand. One of the things that I teach a lot is this idea about causing, okay, which we miss, right? Our culture today teaches us that if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. Or if you did do it, it's you who's the one who's doing it. So pat yourself on the back. You did a wonderful job. No, our successes and our failures are still in Yahweh's hands. Our health, our strength, our wealth, everything has to do with Yah. So this idea about what he's asking Paro, knowing that he's hardened his heart, meaning like, if he knows that he's hardened his heart, why does he keep coming to him and making what you would call a command or giving a request? Somebody tell me. What are your thoughts?
He's going to prove himself to him.
He's going to prove himself to him, to prove that he's Elohim. That's exactly right, Dr. Kavika. He's proving to him that, you know what, I need to humble you. Okay? That's what we're forgetting, is that Yah does not need us. And matter of fact, think about it. David had asked a question, and it was one of the Psalms that I read. He said, what is man? What is man that you're so mindful of him? Why do you even consider him? Why are you thinking about him? How, yeah, yes, yes. How important is it? How important is this? How important are we that he thinks about us, he considers us? For him to even say, I want to even teach you. I want you to sit so I can teach you. You know? So listen, I'm not saying none of us are in here are humble. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we need to become even more humble. We can never be as humble as we could be. That's what I'm saying. You know, when we stand before the Most High or we're in his presence, we need to always remember, we need to have some self-awareness. And I think that's what Pharaoh was missing. He was in a very powerful position. He was over a group, a whole entire country. You know, he was born into it. He was an ordinary person. He ate, slept, he had feelings, he had children, he did it all. So it's not necessarily just about him, but it's a man as a whole, that the Most High is talking to us by these experiences and letting us know that you guys are human and I'm not. But I love you so much that I'm going to spend the time to teach you. And I'm going to show you who I am by the things that I'm going to do. And with that, that should cause us to be more humble. That's what I'm saying. You know, when we look at it. So let's take a look at where was it? Was it in Psalms? Yeah, it is Psalms. Let's read this psalm right quick. Psalms. Here it is. Psalm 48. This psalm is a psalm of praise. Okay. And often we don't get a chance to praise Yah the way that we should. Okay. Because we haven't been initiated and we don't have that time, right? Because other things are going on, okay? But it says this, it says hallelujah, okay? And does anyone know what hallelujah means? Do you know what halal means?
Praise Yah.
Yeah, it means praise, but there's a deeper meaning. It means bring. It does not want to work. Forgive me, you guys. It means to bring light. If this thing would just stop doing that. It means to bring light. Bring light. Cause something to shine. Okay? It means to bring attention to. It means to shine light on it. See, and so the praise is something that has to come from within. It's like we're bringing light. You say, well, he is light. He doesn't need that. No, Yah is saying, if you have the ability to praise me, to open your mouth, okay? And the way that we have to do this is not in arrogance, but it's in humility. So praise Yahweh from the heavens. Praise him in the heights. Praise him, all you Malachim. Praise him, all his armies. Okay, so now we're getting the environment in which we know that he's in, right? So it's everywhere that he's at. So it's starting up in the heavens. And then it says, praise him, sun and moon. Praise him, all shining stars. When you think about that, those are the greatest lights that you and I have. It's the greater and the lesser, but the stars, how many stars are there? How many stars are there?
The number.
They can't be numbered, right? But it says that he knows them all by what?
By name.
By name. So Yah has given a name called Shemesh and Yoreach. These have names, okay? Malaks, they all have names too. Remember? Yaakov asked the Malak and said, what's your what? What's your name? He said, what is it to you? Didn't Samson's parents ask, what's your name? Oh, it's wonderful. I can't tell it. You understand? So they have names and they're part of his army. They're part of what makes up his kingdom. Okay. The stars, they all have names. It says to bring light to him all the highest heaven and the waters above the heavens. You're asking the heavens of the heavens and the waters to give praise? How do they have a mouth? Do any of this has a mouth that we know of?
No.
They don't have a mouth like we do.
No,
So-
but they have one.
What'd you say, Dr. Kavika?
They have one.
They do have one. Okay. And I'm going to show you this in a second. They do have a mouth. Because how could they praise him? How could they bring light to him? How could they glorify him? How could they exalt him if they didn't have a mouth? Before I lose my thought process, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you where they do have a mouth. Okay. Again, in the book of Psalms, somebody tell me where I'm going. Where they have a mouth. It's a couple of places. Let's start in 19. Okay. So in Psalms 19, listen what it says. It says, this is a Psalm of David. He says the heavens, what? They declare the glory of Elohim. The dome of the sky, what? Speaks.
Speaks.
Every day it utters what? Speech. And every night it reveals knowledge. But without speech and without a word, their voices being heard. They have a voice. Somebody tell me, why do they have a voice? What is a voice given for besides praise?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Okay, now we're hitting. So give me something else. Why is the voice given to them and to us?
The witness.
Oh, who said that? Yo, Dr. Ured said that? They're witnesses.
And a cry.
They're out to cry out against. Now we're finally getting it. God's putting a picture together for us, right? We're not the only people that are the only beings, right? We're supposed to give y'all praise. We're supposed to continue to give him thanks. We're supposed to be the witnesses, and we definitely supposed to cry out to him like them. You see? They have words and they have speech. That's what they do. And they are witnesses. And Yah calls them to be a witness against the earth. So when he talks about, I think Rivka brought it out today, she said, when we get judged, people are thinking that, well, I don't have nobody saw what I did. But you tell me, I don't know if Rivka's on, I think she's on. Yeah, like the rocks. Praise Yah, Gil.
Yeah,
So-
I'm here.
Okay, Rivka, tell us about how the sun and the moon and the stars will testify against us.
Yeah, the sun, the moon, and the stars are going to testify against us. In the Arev, I can't remember what I said about that.
You said about the Shabbat.
Oh, it's a sign. Yeah.
You
The
understand?
sun and the moon, the sun and the moon and the stars. It's an appointment.
Their
and-
appointments.
and-
Look,
They're
Go ahead.
appointments, and when you have the witness, they're going to witness against those who don't show up for those appointments. So on the Shabbat, who is going to be able? What else would be able to testify? Whether you acknowledge it is the sun, moon, and the stars, that you can
Whether-
escape
yes.
that.
She said that
Mhm.
it's an appointed time. Okay. So being an appointed time means that you need to show up to your appointment.
Right,
That's
like
what appointment
prayer,
means,
like
a prayer.
like prayer in the morning, and when in the Rev in the morning and the Rev in the evening, facing the east. They're witnesses against us. Remember the Malach that was wrestling with Yaakov. He said, "You got to let me go because the dawn is coming." You know, he had to leave. A rep is coming. He had to
Powerful,
go.
powerful. Good stuff, Kwa. So what we need to understand, everyone, is that the Most High even said that when I give you the Shabbat, I'm giving you the Shabbat as a sign. I'm giving you the appointed times as a sign. Number one, this sign is not only to direct you to tell you that it's set apart for you, but it's a sign that I am your Elohim. If you show up for the appointed times, you're saying that Yahweh is, you're being a, remember, we went over this and we're going to continue to go over it. The name of they call it Moedim, okay? Moedim, okay? And part of this word is this word ed right here, which is an ayin and a dalet. Okay, so let's just deal with this for a second. A Moedim has this root inside of its word. The eem on the end tells us, you who are my Hebrew class, what does the eem mean?
It's plural.
Thank you. Plural. Woo! Y'all's teaching. The mem is the first part of it, and the mo, okay? I'm put, look, you see me write the Hebrew, and then I put an O on the end. This row here, this mo right here, this little mo right here, the mo, part of Moedim. What does the mem stand for as a preposition? Grammatically?
Two.
From.
Yes. From. It means from. You're going from. It means from. But because it's mo, that O sound, which we haven't gotten to our Hebrew, it means a participle. It means continuing. So from going. Okay. So from going where? So that brings us to the root. And the root is called a sheresh. So what's the first letter? Right to left. What's that first letter? What's this first letter right here?
The ayin.
Yes. And what's the ayin represent? Sure. I. What's the next letter?
Dalet.
What's the dalet represent?
The door.
Okay, so the eye needs to look towards the door. What door is the eye supposed to be looking towards?
Door of the tent.
Whoo, the door of the tent. And you have to, and so this word means to look towards the tent door. And this word ad also not only means to look that way, right? But it also means to continue, to repeat. So a person that's looking towards the tent repeatedly over and over and over again is the person that's going to their appointments to go to the tent of meeting, because that's where the command came from. So when you go to the appointed times, you're going repeatedly. You're looking towards the door, okay? Now, let me show you something else that's in this word, okay? If your eye is looking towards the tent door, right? What are you doing with your eyes? You're
Looking.
giving what?
Witness.
Witnessing.
You're
Looking.
being, yes, you're being a witness. Because you're going back and forth to the tent door. You're going back and forth to the Shabbat. You're going back and forth. And so what did Yah use to tell us when these times are?
The witness.
Woo, but who's the witness that tells you what time you're supposed to be there?
The star.
The sun, the moon, the stars, they are giving for signs. Okay, so let me show it to you. Praise be to Yah. You see what happens when we start learning the language? You see what's going on? Do you see how everyone's able to tell us what it is? Do you see how we're all getting an understanding? Look at what he says. Let me find another thing to go to. Let's do Hebrew, right? So I said it 1:14. You can always go back here. Chapter number 1, verse number 14 tells us why Yah gave us the lights, okay? So And this is for your edification, so you'll know what he's telling us. 1:14 says this. I believe it's in 14. Yes, it is. It has to do with the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay. That's what it has to deal with. Okay. And it's on the 4th day. But we know the light existed prior to the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay. It happened. The light came on the 1st day. So now it's something totally different. Now listen to what he says. Verse number 14 says, and he, meaning, and he, it doesn't say he right here that you can see, but we know from Hebrew that that yod is a he. That he is pointing to who said it, Elohim. Yeh, or Yahi, excuse me. Yahi, meaning let there be ma'aroth. Let there be, that or right there is what? Or is what in Hebrew?
Light.
Light. But he said, let it be Oroth. The TH on the end lets us know it is light. Okay.
Oh.
Let there be lights. Okay. Plurality. Then he says in the Birakia, meaning the dome. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. The dome in the heavens. And there's a reason why I want these lights. Because I'm going to lahavdil, I'm going to separate and divide between the hayom and between the halayla. Okay, so that's what I'm giving to you. That's the purpose. And so it'll be between these two times, the hayom and the halayla. I'm using them to separate those two times. Okay, so is the day night?
No.
No.
No. So if the Shabbat is on a day, does it include a night, Lila?
No.
No, because Yom in Hebrew is called Or. So I'm going to use the Oroth, which is the Oroth, which are lights, to separate between these two time periods. Okay, so that's the first purpose. Okay, the second purpose is and that wah right there. How you let them exist to la ototh as signs. Okay, so I need the sun and the moon and the stars to operate as signs. We learn, and it has, and you know what a sign is. You see in that word right there, 2 letters that I want you to focus on. What 2 letters do you think I'm talking about when I'm talking about a sign? In that word, la'othoth. What are the 2 letters? And I'm going to blow it up a little bit. I know if you can't see it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Tav.
Yes, the Aleph and the Tav. Okay. So the Aleph and the Tav are the 2 letters that are telling us something. We've learned from signs from our teachings previously that this means a strong mark. It also means to take the ox to its destination. See, it also means to plow or to what? To point in the direction that it needs to go. And is led by a staff. The one who has the staff is the one who's leading the ox. The one who has the staff in the hand is El, which is the strong authority. Okay, which is leading the ox to its destination, to the point, to its end, to where it wants it to go. Okay, so Yah is saying to us, I'm going to use the sun. Oh, praise be to him. I'm going to use the sun, I'm going to use the moon, and I'm going to use the stars to point you in the direction that you need to go when you need to go there and when you need to be there. Okay? I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to let you know what it is. So the signs and the la'othoth are the signs, plural. Okay? So the sun and the moon and the stars are signs. Not only are they signs, okay, they're pointing you in a direction that I need you to go to your destination, but also too, I want you to go there for seasons. And it says, what's that lamed right there? It's the staff. And the staff is used for what? To guide you. See what I'm saying? I'm going to guide you to the Moedims. So what I'm trying to get you to see is like the Most High is telling you guys got these letters and you're looking at them. Oh, well, that's an L in English. He's saying, no, you got to stop looking at it like that. You got to look at the function of the letter, what it's doing. When I see this and right here, it's connecting. It's a tent peg. It's making a connection. When I look at the lamed, I'm not just looking and say, well, it's just a L, and it doesn't mean just authority. It's actually pushing. It's actually leading to something, to the Moedim. That's what the sun, the moon, and the stars are supposed to do. And it's also not only for the Moedim, which are your appointments, but it's also, and I'm connecting all this together. That's why he keeps saying and. Tent peg, the staff again is going to what? Yamin. I'm going to put it for days. So it's for Moedims, and I'm going to connect this to this because all these go together. Seasons and days and years go together. And they're all for the signs of those seasons, for those days, and for those years. How would you know what the Shemitah is? Somebody tell me what Shemitah. What's the Shemitah? Don't worry if you don't know. The Shemitah is a particular time that has to do with years. Okay, so let's just ask some questions so you can learn what the Shemitah is, so you'll never forget what the Shemitah is. All right, so listen. How many Moedims did Yah give us?
Are there 7?
7. Okay. That's what it is. It's 7 of them. Okay. And the Moedim or the appointed time for the Shabbat is something that we do on a weekly basis. So it's not included, but it could be looked upon as a Moedim. Okay. When you talk about the days of the week, how many days of the week do we have?
7.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. For the Washanim, which are the years, what number do you think the Yah is concerned with?
7.
Yes. So what he says is that, and then look on the days during the week, I want to pick out one day for you to rest. And what day is that on?
Shabbat.
Yes, which is the 7th day. Okay, which he calls the Shabbat, which is the day of ceasing. Okay. All right. On the seasons right here, when we do our seasons, Shabbats are included, right? So it might start on a Shabbat, or the day that you begin it might be a Shabbat. The day that's the last day of it is a Shabbat. So there's resting within those seasons. Okay. Now, on the years, Yah says that you can work your field for how many years before you need to let it rest?
7.
Yes, you work it for 6 years. And then the 7th year, you what? You cease. That means you Shabbated. 6 years of working, 6 days of working. And then you cease on the 7th day. Do you understand? Just like when we finish our seasons, Yah says that, you know what? You're going to do these seasons, and after you're done, it's going to stop for a while, and then it'll pick back up. Okay? You can't add an additional, Purim or Chanukah or any of those things to what Yah says, because what he has done is he's established these days and these years and these seasons, not just on times, but it has to do with the sun, the moon, and the stars. And Yah calls them his witnesses. So these witnesses are witnessing whether or not you are showing up for your appointment. It says that they are right. It says that they speak in words that you can't even hear. You understand? And these are the things that the Most High uses for signs. Now, according to our Torah portion, what has the Most High done with the moon and the sun and the stars? What did he do? What did he do for 3 yoms? What did he do for Shalishi Yom? What did he do? Have you read it? Probably haven't read it yet. He puts the land of Mitzrayim in darkness for 3 days, which is emblematic of death. Okay. He cuts out the sun, the moon, and the stars, everybody, out of Mitzrayim, except for in the land of Goshen. That is very, very powerful. Okay. So when you look at the sun, the moon, and the stars, okay, there's sunlight in Goshen. You hear what he said? The sun was shining just on Goshen. So Yah is making a distinction between his people and their people. And he's using the sun and the moon and the stars to show witness that I have chosen Israel. Somebody else tell me about the sun and the moon and the stars when it comes to Israel. How else does he use it as? Does he use it as a covenant?
Yes.
And who did he give that to? Tell me. Yah has said that I'm going to make your descendants like the what? Like the star. When Joseph had a dream, he had a dream about the sun and the moon and the stars. When Yah had made a promise to David in the family of Levi in the book of Jeremiah, he tells them that you are directly connected to the sun, the moon, and the stars. If they stop shining, then that means I broke my covenant with you guys. You see? So let me not get lost in the sauce. The Shemitah right here, so you'll remember, the Shemitah is where the Most High has said, you work 6 years, the land, and in the 7th year, you don't do any work whatsoever. I don't even want you to go out there and harvest nothing. And the question that they asked him was, if you do this for us, what are we supposed to eat in the year number 7, 8, and 9? Okay, because look, if you stop and you harvest everything in the 6th year and you didn't plant anything for this for the 7th year, you won't have any food in the 7th. Right? So you start doing your planting when? If he tell you can't touch the 7th, you don't do nothing on it, when would you begin to start your planting?
8.
Yes. Okay. So you would end up planting your information or your seed in the 8th year. Okay. At that time. Okay. So you couldn't plant in like, you don't plant in spring. Listen to me. You only plant at the end of the season. Okay. So they'd have to wait till that plant that sowing season. Okay. You got to wait to plant in the sowing season. So once you sow it, and you got to wait for the 9th year to come around to get the harvest of the 8th. You got to wait. So you got to wait literally 3 years. So Yah's telling them, like, look, you're not going to be able to eat nothing until you get to year number 9. Okay. So you got to wait the whole year of the 9th year to even get the harvest of the 9th year. So the question for them is like, what are we supposed to do? And he said, I will give you enough in the 6th year that you'd have enough to get you through 3 years. Yah said, I'm going to provide enough food for you. You understand? I'm going to provide enough food for you to last you an extra 3 years. Let me get this in here before this thing goes out. That wouldn't be fun. Woo! You guys still with me? Are you with me? Did I lose you?
No.
Here.
I was hoping that I wouldn't lose you. Okay. So that's what he's saying to us. Okay. That you know, you guys have to depend on me. All right. So the point is that the sun, the moon, and the stars are connected to the Moedims. Okay. They're the ones who are witness against us. If we do anything that we don't supposed to be doing, they're the ones who are going to testify. They're going to testify to what we've done because they're keeping account. Okay. They keep account for Yah. He uses them in judgment as well. So you can see that in the book of Malachi, and you can also see it in the book of Psalms, chapter number 50. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So, where's it at? Let me clear this out. I'm cleared out, you guys. So do you see the beauty of the seven? Can you
Yeah.
guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the Most High doing? Why is he telling us about this? Because they're the signs that I'm using to guide you and to lead you, but I'm also using these as the signs for judgment as well, because I can rely on them. I can depend on them because I've made a covenant with the sun and the moon and the stars. I have a covenant with them as well. You guys are not the only people I have a covenant with. I have covenants all over the place. Your whole existence, okay? The whole existence of humanity is based upon a covenant. Okay, well, let me try to go there right quick, just so since I said it. Praise be to the living Elohim. I was talking about all these things over here. You can read this in 148 later to find out all the things that are supposed to give him praise. And then you'll find out, okay, this is the reason why you're asking me to humble myself. How long will it be before you humble yourself before me? I'm the maker of the sun and the moon and the stars and everything in the world and everything in the heavens. You guys should find a way to continue to give me honor, to give me praise. That's why I created you, okay? So in Jeremiah chapter number 33, I believe, I wanted to share this with you, not leave you hanging. Look at there. Praise be to living Elohim. Look at the words that he says. I wasn't even intending to go here. Look what he says. The word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah a second time while he was still in prison in the guards' quarters. Thus saith Yahweh, the maker. Yahweh who formed the what? The universe. So as to keep directing it. Yahweh is his name. What? Why does he open up with that? Why does he have to continue to say this? Because for whatever reason, we forget. Okay. He says, call out to me, and I will answer you. I will tell you great things, woo! Hidden things, which you are unaware. Okay. So listen, that wasn't my intention to go right here. Listen, it wasn't my intent, but guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Yahweh up on his offer. I'm going to take Yahweh up on his offer. And I'm going to end the class with that. Okay, well, no, I shouldn't. I should say what I was going to go. Take him up on his offer. Just give me an additional 5 minutes. Let's take Yahweh on his offer. Let's you and I call out to him, and he will answer us, and he'll tell us great things that are hidden and things in which you're unaware. And he's not talking about he's not talking magic. He's talking about the things in the Torah and the scriptures that we're able to pull out, like we did tonight about the witness, about the one constantly going into understanding how we're living and working in this environment. You and I are not here to be a religious people. We're here to learn from God. Listen what he says. Yeah. Let me see right here. Oh, here's what Yahweh says. Verse number 20. If you can break my covenant with Yom and my covenant with Lila, okay, so that the daytime and the nighttime no longer come when they're supposed to, then my covenant with my servant David also can be broken, so that he will not have a descendant to reign from his throne, or not just David's descendant, but a Levaim, who are Kohanim, to minister, to serve me. He says, to the degree that the armies of heaven, which are the stars, are past counting, and the sand by the sea past measuring. You can't measure it, you can't count it. I will increase the descendants, plural, of my servant David. Okay, and the Levaim ministering to me. Any of us can be the descendants of David. Any of us, okay? All of us can be from the royal family of David, and you would never know it until you get back home and he tells you who you are. I mean, that will blow your mind, wouldn't it? You hear what he said? Listen what he says. The word of Yahweh came to Yehu. Look, and he says this, haven't you noticed that these people are saying Yahweh has rejected the two families he chose? Now, if this is the case, if Yahweh has rejected, listen, if Yahweh has rejected the two families, not Yehuda and Levi, he's talking about the families inside of Judah and the family inside of Levi, which is David's family and Aaron's family. Then, hence, they despise my people and no longer look at them as a nation, because you need these two families. These are the two families that hold everybody together because Yah chose them, okay? He says that they're choosing, or the rejection of these two families that I chose. Here's what Yahweh says. If I have not established, made to it be established, okay, my covenant, my bariti, with the Yom and with the Lila, and fix the Kukim for the sky and the earth, okay, then I will also reject the descendants of Yaakov. I'll reject the stars. And all my servant David, I'll reject him too, okay? I will also not from choosing from his descendants, people to rule over the descendants of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. For I will cause their captives to come back, and I will show them compassion. So, our existence, Yah's choosing, is based upon the sun, the moon, and the stars. And if he rejects them, and he rejects the covenant that he made with them, which is forever, then Yah says, then I'll reject them too. He's not rejecting them. That's why the earth is always going to continue. That's why there's not going to be this destruction that the Christians told you of the earth and you're going to heaven. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. So, you and I are in a covenant, okay, with the Most High that is so significant. Our covenant, listen, when somebody tells you he broke the covenant, they're saying that he broke the covenant with David, right? He broke the covenant by giving Christ the position of the high priest of Melchizedek. Then he actually broke the laws of the sun and the moon and the stars, and day and nighttime will no longer come. Has Yah broken his covenant?
No.
No. Question, will he ever break his covenant?
No.
No. So when he created the heavens and the earth, what was he thinking about? He was thinking about you and I. You remember what I said? When he did the Moedims, who was he thinking about? Because they're the sun, the moon, and the stars are directing you there. Who's the Moedim for?
Us.
So now we know that we're supposed to follow when the times and seasons are here. We're supposed to know, well, this is the sixth day. We got 6 days to do our work. So every time you see the sun rise and the sun go down, that was your day. That's when you got to do your work. Okay. And then on the seventh day, there ain't no work for you to do. You're supposed to rest because that's when men do their work. And so to verify that, you may want to go to Psalms 104, and it says the men does their work from the morning all the way until the evening, and then it's over. Okay. So I hope you guys were able to learn something, because I learned something tonight. I did. How the Most High is literally using the sun and the moon and the stars to direct us. They're the arrows that are pointing us to where we need to go. See, and they're keeping us on track, and so we can remember what He's done for us, because all the Moedims tells us what He did for us. You get it? Yeah, beautiful.